Welcome to Reunite with Self podcast. I'm your host, Rukan. Here, we will be discovering and unraveling what is truly holding you back. We will put the puzzle together and give you clarity on how and what you can do to create massive shift in your life so you start creating the life you always envisioned for yourself. There is no more waiting. Whether it is liberating from dysfunctional family patterns or parenting tools and tips that actually make the difference, we will be diving into the truth and core of things that are simple and which yet no one talks about. I will be sharing with you all the things that would have changed my life massively if I heard any one of these episodes. A new world is awakening, and true bliss, harmony, and peace is possible on this earth. And my mission is to bring you closer to that, one step at a time. In this safe space, I will hold your hand and give you courage and certainty that you can shift anything and everything in your life. It is time we break the pattern. Whether you want to be the parent you never had or make a shift in your life so you don't play small any longer, you will find the support and guidance in this space. My intention is for you to find answers within yourself while you listen to this podcast, so you feel the bliss of reuniting with your true essence, with self, with so much love and compassion and courage. From my heart to yours, let's keep it rockin'. My gorgeous listener, thank you for being here. I am so excited for today's episode. Today, our topic is something I'm very passionate about. It is one of the biggest whys, why I'm doing this podcast, why I'm sharing all of this weekly with you. So today, we're going to talk about what are you giving up on if you don't look at what's happening in your family dynamics truly and with clarity. If you don't create clarity with what is truly happening in your family dynamics, especially happening with you, with other family members, what are you giving up on? So as you know, I am very passionate about creating clarity about everything related to family, to what has disturbed you, to what has caused you pain, to what made you play smaller, and maybe you're not even aware of it, like I was. It seemed as if I was doing all the things, I was being all the things, I was this courageous, independent woman. It was very hidden. So today I want to talk to you about the consequences which I went through and which I'm recovering from, the consequences of not looking with courage and honesty to what is truly happening in your family, to what is truly happening with certain family members with you, what has been happening and what is happening and what's going to happen if you don't make any change or shift in your life, in the way you see things and the way you behave and the way you think and the way you make decisions and the way you hold your healthy boundaries and really, truly just like living your life. That affects every part, every area of your life. But what are you giving up on? Well, if you don't look at what's happening in your family dynamics with courage and honesty, then you are basically giving up on the potentiality of the possibility of your incredible life, of creating your incredible life. You are giving up on life itself. I was giving up on life, and what's really tricky and what's I'm really into talking about is the hidden stuff, the stuff that doesn't seem the way it is from outside, even to yourself most of the time. And that's why it's more influential. The subliminal messages are always more influential than someone coming and telling you directly the message they want to tell you. You're not gonna you're not going to take it seriously. It's not going to affect you because it's done to you consciously. But if it's with subliminal messages, and if you were like conditioned, programmed when you were a baby, a toddler, a child, a teenager, and even in your 20s, it becomes very familiar. And if you are a sensitive, highly empathetic, a very compassionate person, sometimes it becomes trickier to really see what is truly love and what's not love in the way you behave towards others and in the way you enable others to do whatever they do to you. So, in a split of a second, truly, I saw what was going on in my life. It happened in a split of a second, but it happened after a very chaotic, challenging, a very painful. I was still in the painful moment, but it happened after a very painful couple of months. Like truly, it was like so challenging that it was beyond what was familiar to me. And before, when I think about the before, it was so challenging, but I was just like holding on to it because it was what was familiar to me. And I thought that, family, love requires that, and it was affecting all areas of my life. But what I want to say, I saw what was truly happening in my life in a split of a second, and everything became so clear to me, and a force, an energy unleashed within me. And I saw if I kept on doing the same things, if I kept on doing the same patterns, thinking the same way, reacting the same way, hoping the same way, and waiting the same way, and it did not seem as if I was waiting, and that's the tricky part. And it doesn't have to be tricky, by the way. I just want to clarify things for you, or awaken things, or guide you, or support you in any way, so you realize what you need to realize about your own life, whatever the story is. I'm giving you these examples so you see that it doesn't have to be black and white. It can be gray, but it can be really, really, really dark inside, and you might not even know what is going on. So I saw in that second, a millisecond, what happened all my life, what actually took place, and what it was causing in my life, and how nobody was going to come and save me, even if they were my closest, and the closest ones do these things to you. Like, that's all I talk about. But no one was going to come and save me. No one was going to be disturbed that I was dying inside, that I was living this, I was really frustrated but hopeful. What I was experiencing emotionally and physically, like what I was having in my life, was not aligned with the life that I envisioned for myself. I always knew, thought, and hoped that my life was going to be completely different one day. Like one day I was going to start living that life that I always envisioned for myself, that I have in my heart, I have in my soul, and that I could see it clearly, like I could feel it. I knew the difference, and it was vast. But what's really important here to understand is that if you looked from outside, my life seemed to some maybe like a beautiful life, or to some a pretty good life. Like, it did not seem as if like there was some core thing really eating me up, like a really, really core, something coming from the way I live my life, that there was any problem with it. I was having a lot of challenges in
different areas of my life, but it did not seem as if I was settling. But I was, and I was playing small and I was doing all the things to self-sabotage, but it was so hidden, and that's why it was so influential. Because if it was obvious, I would have seen it sooner. But because it seemed as if, people would ask me to be grateful for my life, but I was dying inside. I was very frustrated, but I always had hope. So because what I was living, what I was exposed to, and what I was enabling was so different, was so not aligned with my energy inside, like my true authentic energy inside. And I'm not saying this from a superior place. It was just not aligned. Like if I have, if we're talking about like some specific relationship in my family with me, it was not what I would give back. It was not what I wanted for them that I was receiving back, but it was just not what I wanted or what I hoped for or what I could do back. It was just completely different from my true energy or how I was feeling. I was so exposed to BS in ways that was so, I don't want to say hidden. It was obvious that I was exposed to whatever I was exposed to, but I was just enabling that and them as well. But in the name of love, and which it had nothing to do with love. And I always talk about this, and I will continue talking about it and getting into more details and making it like clarifying it even more. But what I want to say here is that if you resonate with this or not, if you are a highly sensitive person, if you are very compassionate, if you are a very loving person, it gets trickier for you to see what's very dysfunctional in the family for a lot of reasons. I was very frustrated inside that things were not moving. I was not aware that I was in the waiting mode, but I was definitely. But it seemed as if I was this courageous, independent woman that was, doing all the things, being all the things, and taking the actions, and like as if I was doing all the things, but I wasn't. And that's where it gets tricky. And it doesn't have to be. And now, like when I look at my life or someone's life or like just something I witness, I see clearly what's happening. I always could feel this dynamic, this unfairness of someone hurting the other or someone stealing the other's energy. It was always very natural to me. But when it's your own life, and especially like what I realized is not something that's talked about. People don't come out with their stories and say, I am being this courageous, and I can say, even though my family might not look like a dysfunctional family, it really is. And it's not just my family, it's like millions and billions of families. So my hope and my intention is to reach as many sensitive, highly sensitive, and so highly intelligent. It's just a consequence, but it doesn't always seem that way. Compassionate, empathetic souls to reach out to them this way and to touch something in them that propels something, that awakens something, that confirms something that they already have inside. And truly, so what are you giving up on if you don't look at what's really happening, truly happening in your family, or what you're truly enabling in your family, in your life, is that you give up on life. I was giving up on life, and the scary part and the dangerous part was that it was not visible. It was not apparent. It was not obvious. It now is to me, but it wasn't. And What's crazy is that it's been a year and a half that I made this decision, that everything became so clear that like I found the gold in the darkest. In the dark, I found the gold, and I found this truth, and I found this gift, and I want to share it with others because it is changing my life in a massive way. I cannot even compare my life before. It's not that, I can list you, this is better, that is better, like there is progress in here. Like there is no comparison. And of course, then I can explain and I can give you the examples and the details and I can elaborate and articulate, but I am just saying this to emphasize how big of an influence it is. How big of an influence it is. And I see so many people suffering from this, and just because they have so much compassion, it is more challenging for them. So, if you don't look, or if you procrastinate to look at what truly is happening in your family dynamics, you are truly giving up on the potentiality of creating or start creating your incredible life. You are just giving up on that. Whatever your dream is, whatever your desire is for your life, whatever it may include, however it may seem, sound like, taste like, feel like, sound like, whatever emotions it may rise in you, I don't know, arose in you, whatever. But whatever emotions you want for your life, whatever things you want for your life, whatever relationships, work, business, career, mission, community, friendships, whatever you want, or the physical things. You're just giving up all of that, but truly things that will really make you feel fulfilled, not just getting the end result. Because like it all depends on, for you to have a fulfilled life, it does not depend on just you getting the things that you want. You must get them in the way that is aligned with you. The success itself, the status itself, the confirmation itself from outside, the money itself, the great guy, great girl, great woman, whatever itself, it's not going to fulfill you. You're not going to be able to live the potentiality of that relationship, that business, that mission, that work. You're going to feel dry inside if you don't look at your family stuff. That's all there is to it. It all comes back to it. It all depends on it. And it's just not love. Like I can tell you that you enabling someone doing things to you, and that steals your energy, you get exposed to it in the name of love because you hope, and we all talk about the stuff like, important part there is you giving up on the potentiality of that relationship with that family member, because you always have a hope for the potentiality. Like you always have a hope of what could happen, but you are not aware of this. And as you start looking at things in a more clear, in a more centered way, if you're more centered and clear, and if you look at things in a much more simple way, in a very honest way, knowing that love does not have excuses, love is not complex, love is just love. Love is just love. There are so many things to talk about, but I want to talk about this in a way that can stir up, that gets you disturbed for the things that you enable. And I want to reach out to the ones that will change this world by changing themselves first, because the world needs your medicine more than ever now. But it can only and only and only happen in a true way. The change in the world can truly, truly, truly happen. Not just because like you're grinding and in your mission or whatever. You must be aligned with your heart, the way you live your life, the way you lead your life, the way you create your state every day, what energy you're exposed to every day. I always say it sometimes takes only one freaking brunch to get you out of alignment. And it does not mean that you don't go to that brunch or any brunch. I'm talking about like family stuff, but it does not necessarily mean that. It could. Depends on the story, whatever. But it's just that if you are just closing your eyes, not seeing things clearly, there is no way that you can start making the shifts and the changes and the decisions and the healthy boundaries and all of that. Like the first step is to see clearly what you are being exposed to and that what kind of effect it has on you actually. Truly, honestly. Not minimizing it, because small things are big things. Small things are huge in family. A subtle facial expression, a tone of voice, a question, a seemingly simple and innocent question, a seemingly simple and innocent comment, a couple of words. I'm telling you, like, until you see, and then you're going to get like really pissed off when it happens. Like the journey of recovery, the journey of change, there is like different phases. And sometimes you go back to another phase, but it never is the same as if it was before. Because when you make that decision, like, okay, there is something really out of alignment in this dynamic. Like it's not something I would do to this person, but they have been doing it consciously. Whatever the story is, doesn't matter. They've been doing it consciously. This is the huge effect it has on me, and these are the consequences. I'm giving up on my incredible journey on this earth. I'm giving up on an incredible, beautiful relationship, a fulfilling marriage, partnership, relationship, whatever it is, or I'm not living up to my fullest potential with my partner because of this, because something is pulling me back, something is controlling me, or it's even affecting my partner because of my BS with my family, and I'm not even aware of it. And I'm exposing them to the same thing and screwing up my own relationship for what? It's not love. What we enable is not love. And I'll go into this on another episode, but if you truly want a good relationship with your family, I promise you that's not the way. Because all your life, you're going to feel frustrated, resentful, angry, pissed off, disappointed. You're going to play small. You're not even going to be aware of it. And so much stuff, so much crap from different types of narcissistic behavior people. So much stuff that you don't deserve. And it steals your energy. It takes away your energy in that moment. And you don't go back home and do the things that you want to do in that energy. You still do things. You still work hard for your life. It may not stop. It may not. But you don't do it in the way that will create that incredible life. It's not like that. You're not going to come up with solutions for your life. You're not going to have that energy. You're not going to have that consistent state because you are not in your own energy. Being in your own energy and only exposing yourself to things that are aligned with that. And it's just like a trial and error. You spend time with someone, you share something, you get back what they do, like you get their reply, reaction, whatever. And then you start understanding, maybe this is not like what I want to share with this person. Maybe what I want to share with this friend is only like maybe this part of my life, and that gives me so much joy, but not the other. Or you might say, maybe it's time that, I don't see this person anymore because it's not worth it. I'm not getting anything from the friendship, the relationship. So I want to keep this episode short. I'm not going to give you a list of things that you are giving up on. I just want to say a few, but I want to say you're giving up on the potentiality of creating your incredible life when you just expose yourself to your family stuff without creating the clarity. Because first comes clarity. Clarity, it will be your biggest tool to handle and navigate what hardships may come. Because things will, things happen, like you start seeing more clearly this time by someone does something or doesn't do something, says something or doesn't say something, whatever. You start seeing more clearly how effed up it is. You're going to start seeing it more clearly. And it's a show of recovery. It's a sign of recovery if you have less tolerance for the dysfunctionality. You're going to be disturbed more, but you're going to be able to take action. You're going to be able to create boundaries without feeling guilty. Or you might feel guilty. That's fine. That's a good sign too. That just shows that you're human. But you're not going to fall back to your before life again. You're going to do the things that are aligned with you. And in along the way, you might feel guilt at some points, and that's totally natural. We're going to talk all about this stuff in the coming episodes. But I want to say life will never be the same again. Life will never, ever be the same again in a very positive way. You will not just expose yourself to BS, and then when you leave that conversation, when the emotions start coming up, this time, you won't abandon yourself. You won't abandon yourself. You will not find BS excuses for the other person's behavior to push down your feelings or repress them, or put them under the rug, or numb them, or ignore them, or, it's just abusive to yourself when you do that stuff. And we've all been taught to do that. We've been asked by our families to be very abusive to ourselves. Because there is abusive people in every family. And if you just enable that, that's truly abusive, what you do to yourself. And the thing that really keeps you resentful in every kind of relationship in your life is the resentfulness that you feel for the family members that you enabled since you were a toddler. And then you start realizing these really weird scenes with really different family members, that it was just not right how it began, how the relationship was, and how it all is actually one-sided. You are not truly yourself. You know what in a family meal, who's going to say what you're allowed to say, how you can make them laugh, what kind of opinion you can say that's not going to be very controversial. Well, it's just, and you just start playing small, not to get the narcissist disturbed, so they don't attack you. So you just play the safe waters. And yeah, and I'm not when we talk about what to do specifically, I will talk about this, and I will share this with you with different examples. It doesn't mean that you need to go to, I just want to say it here, you don't need to go to that meal. It depends on the situation and the people, but it doesn't mean that you go to that meal and you tell all your controversial opinions, because, or true things from your story, true, intimate, authentic, vulnerable parts of your story. You don't need to, because not everyone deserves to hear your story. Not everyone deserves to hear your opinions on things. But there is ways that you can still be aligned and not abandon yourself this time, because it hurts really deep when you abandon yourself in those situations. Not that the other person did that. Everyone can do whatever they want. Everybody is like different colors. But what's screwed up is that in families, it's not acknowledged that we're supposed to be different colors and we're supposed to be celebrated for who we are. And that's what's family about. This is what family is about. But that's not it. That's not experienced right now in this whole wide world. It's not. I have met hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of families, and I'm from Turkey. I don't want to say never, but it can be really, 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 really rare that there is a healthy family. And a healthy family makes a lot of mistakes, but they repair. They are present. They are compassionate. They are understanding. They know everybody's supposed to have their own colors. And we're not supposed to steal energy from family members. We are not. Just because our energy was stolen, we're not supposed to do that to our younger ones or even older ones. I mean, in my family, younger ones, older ones, like from different generations, there is different types of narcissists and very hidden narcissists and very different characters. And I will go in deeper into this stuff. Like I did a couple of episodes on signs of narcissism or narcissistic behavior or tendencies on previous episodes, and I will continue doing deeper, more detailed, specific episodes about this. And I want to say I'm here to support you. Whenever you feel that something is off, just know that something is off there. Something is off there. That's why you felt that. You don't need to find excuses to, make it different. You don't need to find excuses to change the story or focus on something else or blah, 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 like whatever. This is the stuff that's going to be different. This is like, you're going to handle it your own way and you're going to find your own alternative solutions. You're going to find your own path journey. But that clarity is your responsibility to your inner child, to your younger self, to the toddler, like whatever your name is, that young one. You owe it to her and him. I love you. We are here to create clarity so we see things with clarity and we start taking actions to make a huge shift in your life so you start and we start creating our incredible lives. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. We're going to get deeper. I hope you took something away from this. Please share this with a friend that has a lot of empathy and compassion and has a desire to really do things in this world that will make a difference. I love you so much. I'll see you on the next one. My gorgeous listener, if you had any takeaways from this episode or from this podcast in general, I would love to know. Please share this episode with a few loved ones right now. You never know how they can benefit from something so small. And please take a screenshot of this episode and share on IG, tagging me at Khewella. That is Khewella. Khewella. That is my goddess wear brand, my Instagram page. I would love to know what your takeaway was or something you found inspirational or a confirmation you believe in as well. That would make my day. And you can always DM me if you have a topic or a certain question in mind that you want me to talk about. And give me a 5-star rating if you feel like it. That would help this podcast immensely to get the word out. I love you. See you on the next one. I want to see you shine your brightest.